everyone, this is Gina Salazar, and today I will be reading to you from the book The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. The Catcher in the Rye is a story about the 16-year-old boy by the name of Holden Caulfield. It is a coming-of-age story where he is having a really hard time grasping adult concepts, especially those about school, attending school, and finishing school, because this will be the third school that he will be dropping out of. He thinks of himself, he has very low expectations of himself and thinks of himself as a dumb person. The reason I chose this book is because it does lend itself to using it in the classroom in several ways. It contains many literary elements that we can use and develop lessons around those. Elements such as the plot, the characters, the setting, the changes in the settings, themes, motifs, symbols, and many different others. Especially what motivates the character to do the things that he does and how he responds to the changes that are coming his way throughout the story. This book allows students to connect to Holden's journey and be able to connect it to their own journeys, as well as to journeys that they might have read of in other texts. So when you read The Catcher in the Rye, you can talk about the anti-hero and about living up to expectations, and sometimes those expectations of ourselves are much lower than the expectations that the world sets on us, or the expectations that we should have on ourselves. So, again, his expectations of himself are very low. He'll say, and you'll hear, that he is dumb and illiterate, but he loves to read. I chose this excerpt because I love to read. And in this excerpt, he'll be telling us about the different books that he has read. And you decide for yourself. So here we go, The Catcher in the Rye. I put on this hat that I bought in New York that morning. It was this red hunting hat that with one of those very long peaks. I saw it in the window of this sports store when we got out of the subway just after I noticed I'd lost all the goddamn foils. It only cost me $1. The way I wore it though, I swung the old peak way around the back. Very corny, I'll admit it. But I liked it that way. I looked good in it that way. Then I got this book I was reading and sat down in my chair. There were 2 chairs in every room. I had one, and my roommate, Ward Stradlater, had one. The arms were in sad shape because everybody was always sitting on them, but they were pretty comfortable chairs. The book I was reading was this book I took out of the library by mistake. They gave me the wrong book, and I didn't even notice till I got back to my room. They gave me Out of Africa by Isaac Dinesen. I thought it was going to stink, but it didn't. It was a very good book. I'm quite illiterate, but I read a lot. My favorite author is my brother D.B., and my next favorite is Ring Lardner. My brother gave me a book by Ring Lardner for my birthday, just before I went to Pensy. It had these very funny, crazy plays in it, and then it had this one story about a traffic cop that falls in love with this very cute girl that's always speeding. Only he's married, the cop is, so he can't marry her or anything. Then this girl gets killed because she's always speeding. That story just about killed me. What I like best is a book that's at least funny once in a while. I read a lot of classical books, like The Return of the Native and all, and I like them. And I read a lot of war books and mysteries and all, but they don't knock me out too much. What really knocks me out is a book that when you're all done reading it, you wish the author that wrote it was a terrific friend of yours. And you could call him up on the phone whenever you felt like it. That doesn't happen much though. I won't mind calling this Isaac Dinesen up and Ring Lardner, except that D.B. told me he's dead. You take that book of Human Bondage by Somerset Maugham though. I read it last summer. It's a pretty good book and all, but I wouldn't want to call Somerset Maugham up. I don't know. He just isn't the kind of guy I'd want to call up, that's all. I'd rather call old Thomas Hardy up. I like that Eustacia Vi. Anyway, I put on my new hat and sat down and started reading that book out of Africa. I'd already read it, but I wanted to read certain parts over and over again. So, what do you think? Is he illiterate? I don't think so. Thank you.